Hello, everyone. My name is Emily, and I will have a pleasure to discuss today the idea of job crafting. I represent Couch English, that's the business English school and the YouTube channel dedicated to practical business English. As I mentioned, the idea of job crafting today. So, first, probably I need to concentrate on the definition. Let's imagine that I work as a recruiter. I have probably quite a standard scope of the responsibilities. So my role is dedicated to sourcing the candidates. I also have to collect the resumes. I have to make the first initial selection. So I'm checking what kind of candidates they are meeting the criteria, which ones I'm selecting for the further process, and which ones are to be rejected. And probably then after that, I'm also conducting the interviews. And having a look at my scope of responsibilities, I have a feeling that my job is pretty boring because I'm just sourcing. I'm entering LinkedIn, I'm entering different kind of social media, and all the time I'm just searching for candidates. The same I perceive probably the moment of selection. So I'm just checking one CV rejected, another CV selected. Nothing interesting for me, pretty boring, repetitive, and monotonous. But it's about my approach. That's how I perceive my job. And maybe because of the fact that I'm concentrating strongly on selection and sourcing, I also do not have much time for interviews with the candidates. If I had more time, probably it could be a bit more interesting for me because I would have contact with people. I could simply talk with them. I could ask them the questions. I could also answer them, and I could tell them a little bit more about my company, its background, benefits of working in my organization. But I do not have much time for that because I'm so concentrated and I'm so overwhelmed because I'm again doing that selection, I'm doing the sourcing. So I don't have much time for the task which could be a bit more interesting for me. And that's my approach. That's the way how I design my job. And if I'm going to redesign the way how I conduct, how I execute my work, if I'm going to think about the possibility of reshaping some kind of the tasks, maybe I will concentrate on some optimization, on some kind of optimization, of some kind of automation. By that, I will be able to change my approach, my attitude, my mindset if it is about the work I'm performing. And that's the idea of job crafting. So the way how we design, the way how we reshape, redesign our work, the way how we do our tasks, that's all about the idea of job crafting. The main goal of job crafting is connected with our higher engagement and our motivation to work. Because probably if my approach is as that initial one which I described, I'm not going to be motivated, I'm not going to be engaged, I won't feel I'm developing. But if I'm going to redesign my mindset, because this is just about my approach, of course, with the support of the leader, with the support of my team, with the support of the organization, it can happen that from the person who is pretty demotivated and doesn't see the meaning of own work, probably from that person, I'm going to become somebody who is engaged, motivated in my scope of responsibilities, in my work as a whole, in my job. So, what I can do if it is about the job crafting is that I can concentrate on the first aspect of that idea, so task crafting. It's strictly connected still with my scope of responsibilities and being able to redesign something in that scope. So, for example, I can minimize my impact on selection. How I can do it? Probably if I'm going to minimize the time spent on the selection of the CVs in some kind of application, in some kind of the system, because I will introduce some optimization, some automation. It will let me save the time and spend it, for example, let's say, if I'm going to do more interviews, I will be able to just reshape a little bit my engagement in different kind of the tasks. So I will save time on selection of the CVs, and I will dedicate a bit more time to the process of interviewing the candidates. Of course, the initial idea of job crafting is that it's something internal. It's about our approach, it's about our mindset, that we need to change something. We have to have that positive thinking and positive meaning to see that our work makes sense. Although I would say at the same time that I can't believe and I can't imagine that without the support of leader of the team of the organization we can do it. Because let's say that I really want to change my mindset, and at the same time I can see that I'm so overwhelmed but by all that sourcing and selecting activities that I really want to redesign something in that. But I don't get the approval from my manager to introduce some kind of the tools which are going to make my work more optimal. So really physically, I'm not able to change anything in my scope of responsibilities or in the timing dedicated to particular tasks. Then still probably everything will look exactly the same. That's why I need support from my leader, from my manager, from the company, or from my team. So assuming I have it, I will introduce some kind of automation, some kind of optimization, and by that I have the time saved and I can dedicate more time to interviews. Perfect, because that's what I like. Another thing which is connected with task crafting will be related to the idea of empowerment, because it might happen that my manager imposes on me the way how I'm performing my tasks. And I'm an expert, I know what to do, but still that person created a very detailed process how step by step I should run the interviews, how step by step I should run the recruitment process. I don't feel that I have impact. I don't see my creativity in that. I can't take any decisions. I'm not motivated. I'm not engaged because I'm just like a grassroots realizing what my manager told me to. I'm not happy about it. But if my manager is going to inform me about the goal of my work, of my role, probably of my position, if that person is going to assign me some KPIs, some kind of the general tasks, if that person is going to tell me what should be the expected results of my tasks and responsibilities, and all the way how I'm performing, all the methods, tools, they are up to me. The way how I design the whole recruitment process, it's up to me as long, of course, as I deliver. Then probably if I'm going to see that I have impact, I can decide I'm empowered, it will be easier for me to be engaged and motivated. So that's the idea of task crafting. There is another point which is connected with job crafting, and that's about the relational crafting. I would say, I'm sorry, I would say that as human beings, we are social creatures. We need contact with people. Of course, all depending if we're introverts, extroverts, and so on, but still in the company, in business, in organizations, it's much easier if we build relations, if we build rapport with other people. And most probably, if I work as a recruiter and I already redesigned something in my tasks, I'm more involved in the process of interviewing, I have contact with the candidates. And maybe still that's not enough for me. I don't feel that I have built some kind of relationship with my peers, with the other members of the organization. So what I can do is to become more engaged, more involved. I can build higher level of the bonds with other members of the organization. And that's about the relational crafting. What I can do. I can, for example, become the mentor. So I can probably teach, I can educate junior recruiters and tell them how to organize the recruitment process, how to run the interviews. So I can become a mentor. I can probably also meet the other members of the team, of the recruitment team, of the HR team, of the marketing team, and we can do some kind of the brainstorming. We can exchange the experiences. We can raise some issues if we see any kind of challenges or roadblocks in the business processes. So we can talk, we can discuss, we can exchange the experiences, which will be connected with that professional aspect of work. But apart from that, I can also engage myself in some social initiatives. I can maybe participate in some charity. Maybe my company is organizing some kind of the event right now, and I can be also involved in that event. It can be connected with my own personal approach, that I will be more open, I will be more eager to build relations with people. It means that when I'm going to go to the office, I can just chit chat with somebody. I can be involved in the introduction of some new hire. I can become a buddy, for example, for somebody. I can simply go to the company's canteen and talk with some people. So it's only also about my individual approach. So this relational crafting, it's both connected with building rapport relations and socializing with people during work and some professional initiatives, during some interdisciplinary projects. But it's also about my small minor steps which I take just having some relations with people. And almost finally, we can talk about the cognitive crafting. And that one is really about the mindset. Because coming back to the example which I mentioned at the very beginning, if I have that kind of the approach, that the only thing which I do is that I'm just sourcing, I'm just selecting, and it's only about the documents. I just have one CV, second, third, and so on, selecting, rejecting, choosing. Nothing interesting, really boring. What for? So if I have that kind of the approach, well, it will be again quite difficult to be involved and motivated. But if I see my work from a little bit different perspective, and I will see that depending on the quality of the CVs, depending on the quality of the whole selection process, if I'm going to engage myself more in various, for example, sourcing channels, I will find the candidates who are not so easy to be found from the market. If I'm going to run properly the whole interview process, so I will really choose the candidates whose quality, whose skills, they are really, really very high. That's probably going to show me that it's not only about the selection of the documents, but depending on what I do at the very beginning of the process, recruitment process, employment process, it's gonna result, in fact, in the satisfaction of that employees, of that candidates, of course, with their work. It's gonna result in them performing. It's in fact going to result in performance of the whole company. So I need to see the whole process. I need to see that my initial steps at the very, very beginning of the employee's life cycle in the company, they impact the whole organization. They impact satisfaction. They impact relations of those candidates, employees in terms of their team. And here, of course, it is about my mindset, it is about my approach. Although, again, I would say that we can perceive here the role of the leader, of the manager, as a really critical one. Because I may not see the whole process, I don't have that big picture. So, my manager should be able to show me you're okay here at the beginning of the process, but check what is going to happen if you're going to select proper or improper candidate. That's how it is going to impact the whole organization. That's how it is going to impact the department, the team, the relations of that particular candidate with the other team members. So, on the one hand, of course, I'm building sense, I'm building the meaning of my tasks and responsibilities. Although, again, I would say that the manager is also impactful here. And finally, we can probably add two more things to understand the idea of job crafting in a little bit wider way. It can be connected also with the well-being crafting. So the way how I'm going to make myself feel relaxed, rested, happy, and satisfied, it's not only about my approach to professional business, it's not only about my approach to tasks, but the way how I'm going to make myself simply feel better in the company and at my work, it is also very, very essential. I can, for example, listen to the music when I'm doing that sourcing and selection, and I will feel better. I can probably introduce some kind of daily rituals, like even morning coffee is something important, or even the way how I order my desk, it is also something important. So the way how I'm taking care of myself, it can also impact my work. And finally, if I want to see that my work matters, if I want to see that I'm developing in the company, I can also think about job crafting from the point of view of competences and skills. Among the others, I can, for example, participate in some shadowing process. Because now I'm doing the recruitment process, but I also know that there are people in my company who are responsible for building the wider idea of candidates' positive experience, and they work in the employer branding area, designing some external campaigns. So maybe I can shadow them because in the nearest future I will be able to participate in some job rotation. So having some tasks, some kind of the duties from that employer branding area. I can also probably participate in the cross trainings. So once I want to get to know a little bit more about different areas of the organization, I can participate in the training organized by marketing department, and they will tell a little bit more about some marketing tools that I can also apply in my recruitment processes. So I can do a lot of things which are not even directly connected with promotion or changing the position, but something what is going to expand my knowledge, my skills, and probably also the way how I perceive my work, my job, and my responsibilities. That was about the idea of job crafting. If you like that, you can follow our channel. You can see here to contact to us as well. So I'm wishing you today a very good day and hope to see you in the nearest future.